Before you say I do, ask yourself this. What does your future feel like beside them when the world goes silent? Close your eyes and imagine living with their energy, not their face. Because who you marry isn't just a person. It's a vibration that shapes your destiny forever. Marriage isn't the union of two bodies. It's the merging of two inner worlds. The unseen world you carry inside. Your thoughts, your expectations, your imagination is the true foundation of your relationship. Before you step into marriage, you must step into the realm of imagination. Because everything that follows, the love, the peace, or the chaos, begins there. You don't attract the person you want. You attract the person that matches your internal picture of love, of worth, of life itself. Imagine for a moment the person you think you love. Now strip away the excitement, the appearance, the social approval. Ask yourself, what vibration does my soul feel around this person? Do you feel expansion or do you feel contraction? Do you breathe easier in their presence or do you constantly try to impress them? Because your imagination is the silent judge that already knows whether your future together will be heaven or a slow decline into regret. When you imagine someone, your subconscious doesn't just visualize. It creates a spiritual contract. Every image you hold, every scene you replay, begins to plant seeds in the soil of your destiny. If those seeds are filled with fear, doubt, or the need to control, you'll grow a relationship that mirrors those very things. But if your imagination is anchored in peace, gratitude, and strength, you'll draw a partner who reflects that calm confidence back to you. Before you marry anyone, imagine your ordinary days with them, not your perfect ones. Picture waking up beside them when life gets heavy. Imagine disagreements, silence, and struggle, and ask, do I still see myself choosing love? Marriage isn't built on fireworks. It's built on vibrations that don't waver when the excitement fades. The person you marry will either water your faith or drown it. And the preview of that is already playing in your imagination. You just need to listen. We often chase the fantasy of marriage, not realizing that imagination has already written the script. If you imagine fear, you live in fear. If you imagine partnership, you live in partnership. The power is never in the ring, the ceremony, or the vows. It's in what your mind rehearses when no one is watching. You can't hide your inner movie from life. It will project it onto your reality. Before you marry anyone, imagine not what they look like in love, but what you look like in love. Can you see yourself at peace, or are you constantly doubting your worth? Because the person you attract will always play the role your imagination has cast for them. If you imagine yourself unworthy, life will send you someone who reminds you of that belief. But when you imagine yourself loved, whole, and enough, you'll magnetize a person who matches that inner vision effortlessly. This is why so many relationships fail. Not because love wasn't there, but because imagination wasn't mastered. People enter marriage thinking they're choosing a partner, but in truth, they're choosing a reflection of their dominant vibration. You cannot expect peace if your inner world is chaos. You cannot expect loyalty if your imagination constantly pictures betrayal. The law of life is simple. You live what you imagine most vividly. So before you marry anyone, pause and imagine, not what you desire, but what you believe. Because belief is what shapes your picture of the future. Imagine sitting at the dinner table with them 5 years from now. Is your heart calm or restless? Imagine sharing a problem. Do they bring clarity or confusion? Imagination reveals what the eye cannot see and what the heart refuses to admit. If your inner movie doesn't bring peace, your reality won't either. Marriage is the ultimate manifestation test. It's not about finding the right person. It's about being in the right vibration to attract them. When your imagination aligns with love, you won't need to chase commitment. It will naturally appear. But when your imagination is tangled with fear, you'll keep meeting people who confirm your doubts. The moment you change your inner picture, your outer reality must shift to match it. You see, love is not something you fall into. It's something you imagine into being. You create it, scene by scene, through the pictures you hold in your mind. Before you marry, imagine how it feels to be completely understood. Imagine conversations that flow, silences that feel safe, an energy that feels light. Don't focus on faces or names, focus on the feeling. Because when the feeling becomes real within you, the right person will appear to match it in form. Many people imagine marriage as an escape from loneliness. But that's the trap. If you imagine from lack, you'll attract someone who deepens that lack. If you imagine from fullness, you'll attract someone who celebrates it. Before you say yes, ask yourself, what vibration am I bringing to this union? Because two people cannot create heaven if one of them is still imagining hell. Imagine your future home, not its walls, but its energy. Is it filled with laughter, mutual respect, and gratitude? Or is it filled with tension and misunderstanding? That vision will tell you everything you need to know. Life responds to imagination faster than it responds to effort. If you spend more time imagining peace than arguing for it, you'll create a marriage that feels like a sanctuary, not a battlefield. Don't imagine perfection. Imagine harmony. Don't imagine control. Imagine freedom. Don't imagine fear. Imagine faith. The key is to see beyond appearances and feel the vibration behind every interaction. Every word, every gesture, every silence between you and them is energy communicating truth. Your imagination translates that energy into images, giving you glimpses of what's to come. Learn to trust it. Before you marry anyone, imagine yourself alone and feel whether you are at peace in solitude. Because if your imagination cannot hold peace without someone, it will create dependence instead of love. A strong imagination builds strong relationships. It allows you to love without losing yourself, to give without fear, and to receive without doubt. Marriage becomes sacred only when your inner world is already whole. Love isn't about finding your missing half. It's about sharing your completed self. When your imagination holds the image of wholeness, you'll attract a person who complements your strength, not someone who fills your emptiness. Your future spouse is already being drawn toward the frequency you imagine most often. So stop looking outward and start imagining inward. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine standing before the person you love most. Now feel, are you anxious or at ease? That feeling is the compass of your destiny. If peace fills you, move forward. If discomfort lingers, trust that too. The imagination never lies. It reveals what the mind tries to rationalize away. Before you marry anyone, imagine how you'll grow together, not just how you'll love together. Imagine your shared dreams, your spiritual expansion, your peace in silence. The beauty of marriage lies not in the beginning, but in the becoming. Every image you hold becomes a chapter in that becoming. Life will always mirror your imagination. That's the eternal law. You cannot escape what you picture repeatedly. So picture wisely. Imagine deeply. Feel honestly. Because your imagination is the altar where your future marriage is already being written. And when you finally meet the one who feels like home, you'll recognize them instantly, not by how they look, but by how your soul quiets in their presence. You'll know, because your imagination saw them long before your eyes did. So before you marry anyone, imagine this first: the peace of partnership, the ease of understanding, the laughter that doesn't need words, the love that doesn't fade with time. If you can hold that vibration within your imagination, you won't just find love, you'll create it. Because marriage, like everything in life, begins not with a promise, but with a picture. And that picture lives inside you. Your marriage begins in your imagination long before it begins at the altar. The images you hold about love, trust, and connection silently shape your destiny. Every thought you repeat becomes a blueprint for the partner you'll attract. Before the world sees your union, your imagination has already written its script. The energy you project today becomes the emotion you'll live tomorrow. Marriage is not just about finding someone. It's about matching what your mind has already built in secret. Every dream, every picture of joy or pain, forms the foundation of your future together. When your inner world is filled with clarity, your outer world will mirror it. That's why it's dangerous to imagine from desperation. It breeds relationships born of fear. Instead, imagine from fulfillment, from calm assurance. Create a vision that feels peaceful and real. The vows you'll one day speak are only the echo of what your imagination decided long before you said, I do. You don't attract who you want. You attract who matches your inner vibration. Love doesn't respond to longing. It responds to alignment. If your energy vibrates with insecurity, you'll draw someone who reflects that same unease. But when your vibration hums with confidence, you'll meet a soul who mirrors that strength. The universe doesn't deliver partners to heal your wounds, it delivers partners to reveal them. What you feel within is what you invite without. The only way to attract genuine love is to first become it in your own vibration. When your energy flows with peace, understanding, and self-worth, you naturally magnetize the same qualities in another. Attraction is not luck. It's a frequency match. The more you imagine yourself as whole, the more the world aligns to meet you in that wholeness. So instead of asking, who will love me? Ask, what vibration am I offering? If your imagination is full of fear, you'll create a relationship that mirrors that fear. The pictures you hold in your mind are more powerful than the words you speak. Fear imagines betrayal before it happens, disappointment before it's real. And because imagination is creative, it manifests exactly what you dread most. Every time you picture being left, ignored, or unloved, you're rehearsing the role of pain. But you can rewrite the scene. Picture calm instead of chaos, peace instead of panic. Imagination doesn't care what you plant. It will grow anything you feed it. When you shift your focus from fear to faith, from anxiety to assurance, your relationships begin to transform. The person you attract will reflect your healed vision, not your wounded memory. Freedom in love begins when fear loses its place in your imagination. You are always one new image away from a new reality. Before choosing someone, feel their energy, not just their appearance. Faces fade, words change, but energy never lies. When you stand beside them, listen with your soul. Do you feel calm or uneasy? Do you feel inspired or drained? These sensations are your inner compass, guiding you toward alignment or warning you of imbalance. Outer beauty can enchant the eyes, but inner vibration sustains the heart. The world teaches you to look for looks, wealth, or charm, but true wisdom says, feel the energy first. That invisible frequency speaks louder than 1,000 promises. If your soul feels safe, you've found harmony. If it feels anxious, you've found a lesson. Never silence your spirit's reaction to someone's energy, because that feeling will one day become your everyday experience. A strong imagination builds peace, not dependence, within love. When your inner world is rich, you don't need someone to complete you. You choose someone to complement you. Dependence is born when imagination is empty and self-worth is uncertain. But when your imagination overflows with self-assurance and calm, you love freely, not fearfully. You give without expecting return, because love is already abundant within you. This is how lasting relationships are formed, not by control, but by shared peace. A strong imagination creates boundaries that are kind yet firm. It helps you love without losing yourself. When your inner life is strong, you become a source of stability rather than a seeker of rescue. Peaceful love is the reflection of a peaceful mind. Build that peace in your imagination first, and it will appear in your reality naturally. Wholeness attracts wholeness. Never seek a partner to complete your emptiness. The moment you believe you're incomplete, you invite imbalance into your life. Two broken halves don't create unity. They create confusion. Love doesn't fill voids. It amplifies what's already inside. So if you're filled with emptiness, you'll only feel more hollow beside another. But when you're already full of purpose, joy, and faith, your presence radiates strength. Then the right partner appears not as a savior, but as a mirror. They reflect your completeness back to you. A healthy relationship is two whole souls walking side by side, not leaning on each other for identity. The greatest preparation for love is to become whole before it arrives. When your imagination sees yourself as complete, your life begins to align with people who are complete too. Marriage is not a promise made with words, but a vibration sustained by imagination. The ceremony may last an hour, but the vibration lasts a lifetime. Words can deceive, but energy cannot. What keeps love alive is not effort alone. It's the constant renewal of the image you hold about one another. Every day you're imagining your marriage into being. When you picture peace, peace grows. When you imagine resentment, it takes root. You are both artists painting with the colors of your thoughts. If you imagine beauty, your relationship becomes art. If you imagine chaos, it becomes noise. Love thrives where imagination remains pure and intentional. So protect the pictures you create about your partner. Speak kindly in your mind about them, even in silence. Because the energy you imagine together today is the reality you'll wake up to tomorrow.